Hey guys, I'm DirtyWork75. Welcome back to the F1 review. Yes, we're here with the GLC. Now, where were we rocking it? We were rocking it on the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan, if that's how you say it. Okie dokie. Well, what can we say about Baku? It was another Monaco. The slight change is in the speed. The speed you will reach on Baku, you'll get nowhere near on Monaco. But we'll touch on that later. First things first, let's welcome a new driver into the mix. We have Sam F1 XL has joined us, and he has jumped into the Haz team. They obviously didn't have a driver to start, they now have a driver, and he's fitted in quite well. Quite formidable on circuit and good competition all round. So Sam, welcome to the GLC and welcome to F1. Nice to have you. Hopefully we'll see you every single week as it stands. So, what else has been going on? Well, looking at what's been going on here, Mr. Coughlin, yes, Mr. Coughlin made a return in the Renault for some Baku action, as did MGT. Briefly made a comeback on track, so nice to see them both. Hopefully they can make it week in, week out, as it is kind of quiet without them. Now, something we don't normally talk about is speed traps. Every track has a speed trap. From time to time, I'm going to start telling you about the speeds that some of these people are, well, the faster ones, are reaching on the straights. Now, Binary pulled at 206 miles an hour. 206 miles an hour on the back straight of Baku, but only to be pipped by Parched Monk. Yes, with a 208 miles an hour down the back straight, which is, it's mental. You know, considering the hard braking you've got to do for that left at the end, that is hard going, very hard going. Yeah, so that's on the back straight of Baku. Now, what does I say about Baku? 6 kilometres long, 20 turns, and let's face it, the turns you cannot miss. Right, you have got nowhere to go and no option to do but turn. Now, Valtteri Bottas set an unofficial Formula 1's top speed record in qualifying in the European Grand Prix of 2016 with Williams. Now, he claims, their data claims that he got 235 miles an hour down that back straight. If that is the case, that is just bordering on taking off like a rocket. That was me, or any of us, I reckon our back end would be twitching. Don't you? I think so. Okay, then moving on. Now, judging by the race, all teams should have brought spare wheels. Either that or raced on Scalextrics, if you're old enough to remember what a Scalextrics is. For those of you who don't, you don't know what you missed. You really don't know what you missed. This track is riddled with reasons for hitting the wall, coming off the curbs, hitting other drivers, losing wheels, scratching the car. It's absolutely crazy. And when the actual track was built, when they're doing the test runs for it, they found that 90% of rear tyres across the board were getting ripped up, and this was due to the curbs that they nailed to the tracks, so the city tracks. The bolts not being far enough, and they were ripping all the rear tyres. So there you go, some useless information. You know, impress your friends if you have any. If you don't have any, impress us. We'll still look surprised even though we've watched this broadcast. Anyway, yeah, this track took no prisoners. Well, I say it took no prisoners, it actually took plenty of prisoners, but we'll get onto that later. It's one of them tracks. It's nice, but every corner has you just gripping in there for sheer survival. Survival is a word I got used quite a bit last night, actually, in regards to this track, and it is about surviving. And that is due to something which, again, we'll talk about in due course. Now, within the race, penalties were, you had some exceeding track limits, but two that have really jumped out, only because there's one driver involved in both incidents, and something else, is Mr. Coughlin. He's come back in the Renault, okay, and he's speeding in the pit lane. Now, boys and girls, we know how dangerous this can be, speeding in the pit lane. We can't have it. Consider it a first warning. We won't have it again. Okay, you listen to Mr. C? No speeding in the pit lane. Responsibilities. Okay. Now, Sam FXXL, first race in, received a warning. Quite a serious warning from the game for severe collision with Mr. Coughlin. Now, I think I passed it. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I did pass it. And we've just got to be careful out there. We all want to try and get to the end of the race. The race last night was like 26 laps long. There's enough time. There's no need to rush. Take your time, get through the corners, push it on the straights. Okay, that's all I'll say on that. Mr. Coughlin, a puncture on lap 19 during the race. But you don't hold the record there. Sam F1 XL, 2 punctures and went through 2 sets of super softs. Now I think this was actually on the quali or possibly the practice. But yeah, 2 sets of tyres, 2 punctures, and obviously a puncture from Coughlin on 19. Not something we see quite a lot of, actually, these punctures in the race. Maybe that suggests you're riding the wall, possibly damaging the tyres. But nevertheless, it happens, But for Mr. Coughlin to come back and Sam to join us, for you two to be involved in the punctures and the penalties, well done to you. You've made the news. You're now famous. You can write home, tell you folks, about you're now on the internet and a viral sensation. Okay. Moving on to the quali. Now, the quali was, what's the best way to put the quali? Eventful. Was definitely the quali. And when I say eventful, I mean you had Mal, Zygon, Mr. C, Maverick, the Monk himself, and myself all losing wheels in the quali. Obviously try to get a decent time in and push it, but because you've got such a limited time and the track's a little bit busy, concentration, distractions, all of us crashed out on quali. But being the Red Bull team, they're running tight again. Their quali was pretty much spot on. So much so that in first place in the quali we had Loki with a 141.817, closely followed by Patch Monk with a 142.004. So obviously Red Bull's taking the 2 top slots in the quali there. Well done to them. Not taken away from Blue Banff, who pulled a 142.431, the 3rd slot in the qualification. Some bloody good times there on a very hard track. And I was watching a YouTube clip of the Baku Grand Prix, and the pole time for it was actually slower than that. So I know one's a game, one's real life, but hey, good effort and really good on the times there, guys. Really good. During practice and stuff, we had rain, and it wasn't enjoyable. It really wasn't enjoyable. Some tracks, okay with rain, you got a bit of movement. The city circuits are not really good in the rain. So the practice was rain, which so. Quali, nice and dry. The race. If it could possibly be any worse than the fact that it's Baku, i.e. Monaco, same sort of thing, it was raining, and it was raining hard, seriously hard. We had several safety cars. The track just wasn't drying out. Being able to see the car in front of you when you got all that spray, and it wasn't light rain either, it was heavy rain to start, and it didn't lighten up until towards the end of the race. But that is what it is. It's dynamic weather. We have it set to that for a reason, so everybody can get a taste of every single condition that the game's got to offer. I think it's just a case of maybe people don't practice enough in the wet. I know that I don't, and possibly I should do, really. But everybody likes to run around dry tracks and sort of make it easy for themselves, or easier for themselves. But the rain is something we definitely need to start practicing as a whole. Even some of the faster drivers were still struggling a bit with the rain, even though some of them actually do practice in the rain. So it's definitely a note to ourselves. Let's start practicing the rain, boys and girls, because I'm sure there's even more to come. We've got Silverstone coming up soon enough, and it ain't going to be sunny. It won't be. UK, innit? So there we go. Now, before we get into the results of the race, some stunning battles this week. There really was some stunning battles in Baku, despite the weather and everything else and the track. Mr. C and Mal, right in the middle of the field, they were going at it hard, switching places in and out and doing really, really well with the track and with the weather. So hats off to them for pushing hard and you know, keeping it real. And Binary and Monk. Now, Binary and Monk got very close at one point, and I don't mean racing as in at the pits. One was going past, one was coming out. It was a hairy moment. They both survived, but generally throughout the race, they guys were tight, very, very tight, chasing hard and pushing hard. How they never ended up in a wall is beyond me, because they were pushing very, very hard. But that just shows, you know, how good racers they are, and well done to them. Did it affect the race? Did it affect the results? Well, we're about to get into that. So, in fourth, why is he starting in fourth? You'll understand in a second. In fourth place on the Baku City Circuit was Merlin Mal in the Force India. Yes, Mal pulled a fourth. Well done to Mal. One spot away from the podium. How unfortunate, but he raced hard, consistent, and stayed consistent. That was the main thing. He was consistent throughout the whole race, and plodded on and got himself fourth. So well done to Mal. In third spot, Parched Monk. He's up there again. Yes, you know, consistent as ever, and a formidable driver. So well done to the Monk. So that leaves two spots. I know who you're thinking probably got first, but no. Binary came second. Yes, he did, ladies and gentlemen. Binary's come down from the clouds a little bit. He's come down to reality. He's down here with us mere mortals. He got pushed off the spot. And I'm quite surprised who pushed him off the spot, actually. It's not a name we've had up there before. But nevertheless, a massive, huge congratulations, because he raced an absolutely amazing race. Kept it out of trouble, kept it clean, pushed hard, and you can't take it away from him. Blue Banff 1028. Fantastic race, mate. Pole position in Baku, and hats off to you. An absolutely fantastic race. Can't take it away from you, mate. You really, really can't. And your first pole, so well done. Absolutely well done on that. So why did I start in fourth? Well, it was quite simple. Nobody else finished. That's right, 9 drivers crashed out, leaving the 4 to finish the race. And one of the most unfortunate drivers, I've got to say, gutted, absolutely gutted for this guy, Mr. Coughlin. Lap 22 of a 26 lap race, he crashed out. Now, Coughlin had a few hairy moments. Was unsure of how the pit system works in regards to selecting tyres. Several pit stops, trying to get the tyres right, going in, come back out with the same type of tyre, but eventually he got it. So he got it, he got back on track, got back in his groove, lapse of concentration, whatever it may be. He was out, lap 22. Such a shame, because he worked really, really hard and was pushing Mal really, really hard as well. So, unfortunate, but that's F1, guys. That's F1. Now we're going to do a bit of a round up here before we sort of wrap this one up. Season standings are mixing up. Now they really are. Force India driver Merlin Mal is now above his old teammates, or his old teammate and his old team in the driver standings. Yes, he's sitting above the McLaren drivers. Now, not in the constructors yet, but in the drivers, he is sitting above the McLaren drivers, and they must be gutted that they let him go. But he's pushing the Force India hard, and he's doing really, really well. So nice one, Mal. Now the first race out for Haas Formula 1 team got points on the board. Got 6 points on the board. You know, it's first race for Sam. First time he's been racing with any of us. So he's obviously got to get used to us, the track, getting his car set up and what have you. So fantastic news for Fast. They've finally got a driver who is, you know, good, steady and competitive. And that's what they need. No doubt we'll probably see Haas, you know, picking some points up as the season goes along. It's going to happen. I can see it. Just by the way he drives, I think he's going to be some good competition for some of the, you know, the top medium drivers. We'll see how it goes. Now we're almost halfway through the season, and we have Austria next. Now, all I'll say is we've done a rundown last night on Austria to test some stuff. Just get practicing, get your lids on, get out there, get on track, and get some practicing done. It's one of those tracks that looks relatively simple, but there's a couple of things that can catch you out. There's some nice tight corners, and maybe bends you think are more sweeping than they actually are. They look a lot bit sweeping, but they're tighter, and you can easily come off. So get practicing, obviously in Austria, and have fun. That's the most important thing, is have fun. So next week is going to be as eventful as ever. It always is F1. You know, it fails to bring chuckles, moans and groans to the party because of the way the F1 game goes, and that's just the way it is. Okay, so that's your F1 report from me, DirtyWork75. But 1 second, don't forget, subscribe. If you like the video, click on the thumb below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, click on the thumb below, like the video, and subscribe to the GLC Media channel. You get all your media videos, clips, and tips and tricks. We've got it all. So that's it from me. I'll see you next week in Austria. Get practicing and stay safe. Take it easy.